When we're not really where we want to be, how do we stay? I've been thinking about that this past week, and that thought inspired this week's Sunday question. Hey everyone, I'm Denise Brown, and I write what I call Sunday questions. I like to think of a good question so my mind does the work to find a good answer. Rather than fretting and worrying, I pivot to a good question and then trust my mind will lead me to the right answer. So this past week, I really got stuck in some thoughts about where I am, which isn't where I want to be. So I decided I'd better do something different because I am where I am. So, with that thought, I wrote this week's Sunday question. And this week's Sunday question is, where will I live in my head? I think about the thoughts in my head, which can become my experience with the world. Recently, I got trapped by these thoughts. I'm never getting anywhere. I'll live like this forever. Life is just too painful. These thoughts, though, made me feel worse. My circumstances hurt my body, and my thoughts about those circumstances made my heart ache. I am where I am. I don't have to make it worse for myself by listening to my judgmental self talk. I reminded myself that I can control my thoughts. Why not just think better? I needed to shift my perspective from struggling without enough to thriving with more than enough. I decided to embrace an abundant life by telling myself, and this is literally what I've been telling myself, I have millions and I live like a millionaire. Repeating this statement in my head made me feel better. Perhaps my outside circumstances didn't change, but I certainly felt better being in my head. I don't have to live a tough time twice, once in the world and once in my head. We can remind ourselves that we can create a better experience in our mind by asking ourselves this question to start our day. Where will I live in my head? We can live wherever we want, which means we can visit a better place anytime just by closing our eyes and picturing something better for ourselves. Where will you live today in your head? I'd love to know. Share in the comments section. If this was helpful, hit like. And if you want to make sure to receive all our content, hit subscribe. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks so much for living in my world. I'm Denise Brown. Thanks for listening.